Welcome to another terrifying episode of Cold Film Review, the podcast where we discuss the films you love but no one else gets and see if they still hold up. Tonight, they're creepy and they're kooky, mysterious and spooky. They're all together ooky, the Addams family values.
Your Hollywood system stole our sex and co-opted our violence, so there's nothing left for our kinds of movies.
I did not hit her. It's not true.
Klopex? Klopex. Klopex.
Up yours, baby.
Me and Bubba, my little brother, listen to you every night.
Where in the hell are we?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
All right, so we are here to talk about, well, first off, let's just say this. This is a part of our Halloween extravaganza 2016.
2016.
I am your host, Cody Everett. As always, I am joined by Kyle Smith.
Hey, how's it going?
Kyle, I want to ask you real quick. Do you have any fun little Halloween stories you could say real quick for the people?
Halloween story?
Yeah.
How quick?
I don't know, quick.
Yeah, I guess the one that stands out the most in my mind was one year, my neighbor down the street, he thought it'd be funny to basically walked up to his house. His garage door was open. It was pitch black. He had the light off in there. We walked around to the front door, rang the doorbell, nothing, no candy. Kind of pissed. We're like, all right, whatever. We leave. As we're walking down the driveway, from behind us, he's standing in the garage with a hockey mask on and a chainsaw, and apparently he must have taken the chain off of the blade off it. He rips that shit on and just chases us away from his house, like down the street, just booking it. Like he was in full fucking sprint. Like, yeah, it was pretty fucking great. It was funny.
I don't go to houses like that. When I was a kid, I was too scared.
What?
I didn't do that,
What?
dude.
Do you like haunted houses now?
No.
Well, fuck, did I know that's what was going to happen? I just wanted Snickers.
I don't like haunted houses now. Chris, speaking of that, Chris Willenbrecht, everyone. Why don't you tell us if you have a Halloween story?
I do have a Halloween story, and this is like the one story I have that actually feels like a movie in my head. It was like I tried to create the classic Halloween for myself.
It was on a night just like
It was
this.
on a night just like this. Basically, I got together with like a bunch of friends, and the goal for the night was to like get our backpacks full of like cool shit and like go around the neighborhood and like get all the best candy we can, change costumes, go back up to the same house I was giving out the king size and all that shit. But we were going to cap the night off with TPing a house. We had already been like walking around like throwing eggs at everything and doing all that shit, but like late at night we wanted to TP a house for the first time. So we waited until like 1 a.m. watching horror movies and stuff, and like snuck out the side door and like had like a whole like 12 rolls of toilet paper. And there was this massive tree on the house catty corner to us. Mm-hmm. But the person that lived there was like an old woman in a wheelchair.
Oh no!
Oh my god!
So we're like, yeah, we're just gonna go fuck this tree up. It's gonna be amazing. So we're out there. We're like chucking rolls, like just like spend a good 20 minutes. Nobody drives by or anything. And all of a sudden, boom, like these headlights hit us and we dart back to my house. My friend rolls under my stepdad's truck and I hid behind a pillar in front of my house, which was the dumbest fucking idea ever. But I hid back there and the car rolls up all slow and the window rolls down. And then I hear a man's voice and he's like, you can come out of there now. You can come out from behind there. I can see you. And I was like, oh, shit. So I like step out slowly and he's like, come here. And it was the longest walk down the entryway to my house ever. I get to the window, and he's like, how old are you? And I was like, 13. And he's like, what are you doing? Did you just do that over there? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, all right, have a good night. And fucking sped off. So my dog's going apeshit in the house. I'm like, fuck, my parents are going to wake up. I run around back to the side door. My friend's already inside. I slide under my covers and my stepdad like comes down the hallway and he's like, what's going on? Why is the dog barking? I was like, I don't know. We just heard a noise outside. I don't know what happened. And he like immediately goes to the garage, pops it open, looks out and sees a massive tree just covered completely in toilet paper. And he looks at me, doesn't say a word, goes back inside, turns the lights off. I wake up the next day. The whole tree is completely gone of toilet paper. There's no more toilet paper in this tree.
What?
So I have no idea who cleaned it up. It obviously wasn't the old wheelchair-bound woman. It must have been a good Samaritan or my stepfather.
So
You should ask him about this.
You willingly TP'd the handicap. An elderly.
Yeah, I did.
An elderly?
Guilty.
We don't call him that.
Wait,
anymore.
how
We
many?
don't call them elderly.
All I want to know is how many ply.
Oh, I'm sure it was 2.
Man.
It was whatever my parents bought, you know?
And also, after that, I'm joined by Michael Salustio. Mike, do you have any Halloween stories?
I actually do have a Halloween story, and it's funny because I didn't until Chris just reminded me of this story that happened to me on Halloween. I was 16, and we were too cool for Halloween at this point. So we were like, yeah, let's not do anything. But then my friend was kind of like, I don't know, man. Maybe we should like egg a fucking house or something. And I was like, I don't know. I wasn't really for it. And then we went to a McDonald's, and I noticed that the toilet paper roll was down. And you know those really, really big
Yeah.
toilet paper
Industrial.
rolls, the industrial size ones? It dawns on me. I'm like, wait a second. This sounds a great idea. Let's go out. I take this thing. I steal it out of the McDonald's. I leave, and I go, look, yeah, we're definitely going to TP a house with this thing. So we wait till like 3 a.m. or whatever, and we find a house with a nice big tree, and we go to take this thing, and I guess it didn't dawn on me how heavy this goddamn thing was going to be, because we're like trying to shot put this thing. We're trying to like granny toss it under the legs.
It's like rolling a tire.
Yeah, it was huge, and every time it would make this big thud. And of course we were kind of drunk when we were doing this, so it was funny to us until the cop showed up, and we like booked it. I don't think any of us got caught, but we did leave that big giant roll like, sitting in there.
I think that would be hilarious to wake up and just find a wheel of toilet paper.
But I think it's
sitting in
gonna
my front
be
yard.
funny. It's like a cop is gonna see that and be like, my deductive reasoning tells me that these assholes tried to use this thing to TP house and it didn't work.
Case solved.
Fucking amateur hour.
I'll give one that kind of relates to this movie, Addams Family Values. So one year, I was probably around the time that this movie came out because I feel like Cousin It was he a more prevalent character in this one or the first one? I can't remember.
The first one.
Yeah, first.
So it was probably
Had a
after
whole
the,
story,
yeah, it was probably after the first one then because I was Cousin It for Halloween and my mom made the costume, so it was top notch. Because it was like back in the day when your mom would make it. I don't know if
mine
anybody
did
else
too. Yeah,
my
for
mom
sure.
had
made
that.
costumes.
Where they would go like the one time a year your mom would go to the craft store and then be like, I have a sewing machine. You're like, I've never seen it before, Mom. Where did you get that?
Stays in like a mysterious black box on the bottom of the closet that you've never looked in.
Yeah, and then you gotta go to like Joann's to pick out your costume, which is like the worst. You gotta like look at like it almost like seed packaging. It's almost like seed packaging, like you're gonna plant seeds, and it has like a picture of the costume, and then inside of it is just like a big stupid like cutout of a costume that your parents,
Right. It's like a blueprint.
Your mom would make, and they were, what fabric do you want? So I was Cousin It with the hat. And I was essentially made out of like shag carpeting. And I remember like I couldn't see out the damn thing. It was like 110 degrees. And I was in Missouri in October. So it's not like it's hot there.
Is it humid though?
No,
Oh.
it's cold.
Okay.
It's cold.
Oh,
It's
so you're
usually
probably
cold
warm.
and
I'd have been
rainy.
happy.
Warm as fuck, yeah.
No, like my childhood sucked because most of the time it rained during Halloween in Missouri. It always rained on Halloween. It sucked.
The one year
Always.
it didn't was wearing shag.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
year it didn't. I was the carpeting in the mystery
It
machine.
probably would have been better. Yeah, if it had rain, that would have been really bad though. Shag really retains that water.
It's like a sponge.
Yeah, you just would puff out. It's like 100 pounds you're walking on.
I know. As
Just
a
collapse.
child.
Who's the brown ball
No
walking
hair
down
left.
the street?
What is that? Is that a mop? Are you a mop kid?
Well, I remember one year I was Peter Pan, but everybody thought I was Robin Hood, and apparently I got real pissed.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, God damn it, Mom, you can't even get that costume.
I'd
right."
rather be Robin Hood than Peter Pan.
Yeah, right?
The only time I had a costume made for me was my dad. Like he bought my dad was pretty smart this year. He bought like a foam like skeleton mask. Then he went out and bought a bunch of silver paint, and he basically applied it to my face to look like I was a Terminator with some of my face blown away.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. My mom actually, I had a Terminator costume also, and I got made fun of for it in second grade. because it was
Because it wasn't the Terminator, it was like some side character.
It was like no, it was so homemade. But
You were John
I was
Connor.
so happy. There was nothing I wanted to be more in second grade than the Terminator. So my mom like went and bought all this like metal wire and like sculpted like a metal arm around my arm. But it wasn't like that cool. I mean, it was like the effort was amazing, but it didn't come out like realistic at all.
It looked like a whole bunch of hangers.
And then she just, and then she like threw a pair of Oakleys on me. And I loved the shit out of that costume, but like some dumbass kid was like, "What are you supposed to be?"
Yeah,
that's funny. All right, so we're here to talk about Addams Family Values. It's actually the sequel to an Addams Family movie directed by Barry Sonnenfeld, who's also directed movies like the Men in Black trilogy. He's done a bunch, dude. He was a cinematographer, done a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, he's a big name. He's a big name in Hollywood.
I mean, and he does what? He works with Will Smith like all the time.
I think so. I think they're best buddies. I think he was his best man at his wedding.
What?
I don't know. I made that up.
It was Jazzy Jeff.
It could have been though. I don't know.
Jazzy Jeff.
This movie
Wouldn't it be bad to just slap in the face at Jazzy Jeff? It's just like, yo, I went with Barry this time.
Well,
Oh, man,
Barry.
come on. I've been there since the beginning. Come on, Will.
Yeah, but he got me in Men in Black. All right, so the movie came out in 1993. It made about $48 million. It wasn't as big as a hit as the original was.
Okay.
The original one made $141 million.
Okay.
Or something
Box
around
office
there.
speaking,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
lower. Yeah.
So it was still a hit, but it's got 78% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is Mike's pick, and if you don't know what it's about, basically that the Addams family is back and Fester is in love with a killer. Pretty much.
A Black Widow.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's about it.
That's about what's going on.
Yeah, so this was Mike's pick, like I said. Mike, why did you pick this for your Halloween pick, your very special Halloween pick?
I don't know. I mean, first of all, what says Halloween more than the Addams family? They're Halloween 24/7 all day long. They live it. They love it.
They
They're
breathe it.
spooky. They're kooky. Whatever.
It's so true.
Other than that, yeah, I think it's a better than the first. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, later.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to choose between the two, I was going to go with this one. It's funnier. I think that's the only real reasoning I can give you. You told me to pick a Halloween film. I picked one for you.
That's it.
There
That's
you
it.
go.
He picked a Halloween film.
Let's rate
No,
it.
that's it.
So we don't need to go any further. Thanks, guys.
So, had anyone not seen this movie before? Let me ask that. Has everyone seen this movie?
I used to watch this all the time with my brother.
Let me ask
That
this.
was in theaters, I think.
Let me ask you this question: when was the last time you saw this movie? Then
Ooh.
When I was 14, probably.
Yeah, probably in my teens.
I would say probably. Maybe earlier. This one was not on my Halloween list before this viewing again, and I it's weird. Like I wonder. I don't know why I never went back and tried to rewatch this film.
I don't know. I think it's one of those films. It's like it was around that. It's like the first growing era where it's like let's bring back like popular franchises, and now we're like living in it.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
time. But I think it was during that time. There was like an early 90s thing where it's like, let's bring back SWAT. And like they were bringing back like all these weird
They
stories.
brought back all these weird like TV shows
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
60s and stuff.
Right,
like-
right. And they were doing this whole thing. And Addams Family was one of them. So maybe.
I mean, they made a Lost in Space movie. They
Yep,
made Addams
that's right.
Family. They did
Sure
the
did.
Brady Bunch.
Mhm.
A very Brady sequel.
A couple
Very
others,
original,
but yeah.
There was
It was a weird time where like, you know what? You know where we're going to make our money?
like old TV shows.
TV from the 60s.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it wasn't. But it wasn't like let's go and make these a serious thing. It was always a satire on those.
it was trying to be tongue in cheek.
Yeah,
all the
no,
time.
like,
well, except Lost in Space. They try to go
Yeah,
serious
that-
as fuck
that
on
was
that
serious.
terrible movie.
Yeah.
But like the Brady Bunch movie is would be the closest thing that I could like relate to this.
Absolutely. I think they're both in the same vein.
And I would say like this is almost like a satire of what the genre is what this movie is.
The Brady Bunch one for sure. I think this one I didn't feel as much satire as I just feel like they just kind of doubled down on like the joke of it, like how they're like this weird gothic family, and I think it works because you get a lot of interesting moments for comedy and for like weird jokes or comedic moments in it, and it pays off. Brady Bunch makes more sense to do like a kind of making fun of it because
They're making fun of a time period, and
Yeah.
like they're kind of like Addams
But-
Family's not really like they're not
I feel-
playing on that as
Well,
much.
I feel like I disagree. I feel like they are making fun of the family in that regard of like they kind of do in the Brady Bunch too, where the Brady Bunch happens in the 90s, but they make fun of the Bradys because the Bradys are still living in like the 70s.
Right.
And it's kind of like the same thing I feel like in this, where it's like the world around the Addams family is normal, but they're like stuck in this like quasi TV world.
I guess I kind of agree with Kyle a little bit more though. The Addams family was always that way, even in the TV show.
Yeah.
They were like, man, those neighbors are weird. Like them and the monsters. They're like those weird neighbors that,
right?
Like, and there was a normal world around them. Yeah. So I mean, I guess you really can't say it's like a satire or it's even parroting.
No, they're just doing
like,
their
like
own
Brady
thing.
did.
Yeah. Brady Bunch was smart about it because it's like, how do you bring this just
into modern
very
day.
very classic 60s kind of situational, TV show into modern, and they did it the smart way, which was they're basically a time capsule and everyone around them, and it's just like, fuck is wrong with these people? Whereas Addams Family, it's just the darkness and like the weird gothic is just, it's always been normal. It's always been that against a real world from day one. It's always normal society coming into their house on the TV show, like, So I think they did it smart. They definitely ramped up the comedy versus the TV show, and it worked out fantastically.
Here's another thing that another movie that I'll kind of compare it to in the fact where I've noticed this kind of phenomenon, especially this year with this movie. And I say phenomenon.
That movie was good too.
No, it's just,
with John Travolta.
I wanted to pick Powder.
About that?
No,
I was hoping someone would pick Powder for a Halloween movie, but no one did it. No, it has, to me. It's starting to get this weird. I want to say like almost Hocus Pocus kind of like following to it. The Addams Family Values now is where it's like this movie where it was like when it came out. I mean, it was the #1 movie, but for like a week. Yeah. And it bombed. And then, like, I don't remember hearing about it again. It's kind of the same with Hocus Pocus. It was like, if you saw it when you were a kid, some people latched onto it and just never forgot it and carried it on. And then it's just hit this pop culture thing where it's like, it has to be on your Halloween list for a lot of people. This movie is on its way there. I mean,
I think it's already there. It's already on the ABC's thing.
Yeah, it's on 13 Nights of Horror, like 60 times, if it seems like.
It's because it's safe. I mean, it's a safe Halloween movie for a family. That's why that works.
And, actually, honestly, after watching it this time, I can say, like, compared to some other films that would have come out around the same time, I definitely think this one aged well.
No, I agree.
It did.
Like, the jokes and stuff that they're hitting on, it's not topical enough to really, have like a shelf life. It's and they're dealing with situations that I think any person can deal with, like the whole like a new baby coming in and the two kids feeling kind of like they're going to get left out or left behind. Like that's just kind of a timeless conflict. So,
but I feel like we're like 2 years away from seeing internet memes of people who are like, you know what I mean? Like when people don't know it's October, I'm like, and it's just some like Addams Family Value meme. Wait, like how you see like a million of those with Hocus Pocus.
I always see that meme. There's always Wednesday Addams memes where it's just like everybody around me loves Christmas, but I'm just like waiting for like.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Halloween
those and Morticia. Those are the two I see the most.
I see a lot of that.
I wish I would see more
Gomez.
Gomez.
Darker.
I liked Gomez.
He's the best part of this.
He's
movie.
so great, and that's Raul Julia.
Hello, Julia.
Is it Julia?
Julia. Where are you getting that from?
Hey, it's Halloween. He's spooky. He's spooky right now. It's Halloween.
Raul Julia. It's like one of his last
Julia.
movies.
It's
Angelica Booston.
But I don't know. Does it like it doesn't? I guess it just seems to me like this came out of nowhere for me this year. As far as like I've never paid attention to this movie.
I haven't thought about it since the last time I saw it. Like it's not. I guess it's not really one of those. It's not a movie that truly I could say like sticks with me. It permeates with me. When I watch it, I enjoy it, but I don't. Like I'm not sitting there thinking like I'm gonna run out and see Addams Family. Like,
see, I think
it's got maybe because it's more like based in the Gothic, so you think more like October is when I'll watch that movie. I get around to seeing it. Like,
no, and I think that's the same thing with like Hocus Pocus. Like Hocus Pocus to me is like I go to the store and every October you see it on DVD, you see it on Blu-ray, like everywhere. And I feel like this movie is about to be that movie. Like it's about to be. where people are like, I can't wait to watch. I can't wait for Halloween because I want to watch Addams Family Values. I feel like people are going to be saying
A new
that soon.
renaissance, if you
No,
will.
I agree. And I think it's because like something you mentioned earlier where it's like this movie, to me, its comedy holds up really, really well. Like you look at this movie and you're like, wow, all the actors that are in this movie, like every single one of them are way older now. But this movie holds up like incredibly well. Like Christina Ricci's brilliant in this movie, and she's like, "You're like what, 12 in this?
Yeah, something like that.
Like ridiculous. Like get out of here.
Just go.
Yeah,
Just go.
Just get out. You're already brilliant in comedy. Whatever. It's ridiculous. I don't know. But hey, let's take a break real quick, and when we come back, let's talk more about Ookie and Spooky.
Pugsley, the baby weighs 10 pounds. The cannonball weighs 20 pounds. Which will hit the stone walkway first?
I'm still on fractions.
Which do you think?
The cannonball?
Very good. But which one will bounce?
The baby?
There's only one way to find out. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
What a glorious evening.
Rain.
Cara mia.
Oh dear.
All right, guys, so we're back and we're talking about Addams Family Values. One of the questions that I want to ask is, why? How did they get this movie right the second time? Usually that doesn't happen, right?
No, it's a very rare thing.
Like usually sequels are not better than the original film, and this is, in my opinion, oddly better but less successful.
Yeah.
I think maybe the first was the first was a test. Like maybe he wanted to do a lot of the stuff he did in this film in the first one, but just kind of had to get it off the ground floor first.
I think it was maybe the first one did good because it was banking on that fandom. All right, so people who were like know about the show were like, oh, an Addams Family movie, okay, and they went and saw it. Whereas this one. It might have come after a couple other movies had sequels. Maybe did Very Brady's sequel already happen before this one came out?
But Brady movie happened way after this.
Way after?
I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
You positive?
No, I'm not 100%. Let me GTS that.
GTS?
Yeah, Google that shit.
Oh, I've never heard that before. Anyways,
but no, I think I think the first one was more or less maybe playing it safe. And let's just do Addams Family what it is. In this one, they introduce a couple new characters. There's definitely way more like I felt like there's more like character dynamic and development in the characters, and better situations that they were put into that helped the cast kind of feed off of. You know what I mean?
Do you think that they went more outside of the family in this one than they did in the first one? The first one was more just about them being at home and everybody was there in the house,
and then they weren't at home.
They introduced a lot of family members like into that one, and in this one it's like they brought in completely outside.
I think that's exactly it. I think the first one focused so much on fan service and getting the original source material correctly. I mean, for Christ's sakes, this film is the entire story is actually ripped off, not of an Addams Family show,
I read this.
but the Munsters.
Munsters, right? Yeah.
They didn't even take it from their own thing. They actually literally ripped off one episode of the Munsters and they said, let's make this story because it's more interesting. And then they went with it, and then they came out with this. And I think you're right. I think with this, what makes this one better is that it's taking the Addams Family. First of all, there's this really big theme about family in this film. Like the family is broken. There's a big dilemma going on. You know, like Fester has left the family. The kids are off to this camp. The mother and the father, they're dealing with the new baby and stuff like that. So there's like a split family. As where the first one was kind of more like, hey, let's just kind of like do the best we can about the show. Yeah. This one kind of like said, just like, look, let's just make this about the characters and let these great actors speak for themselves.
Well, the first one was a big part of the story was Fester coming into the family.
Yes.
Was the original.
Right.
And
but this one is a family.
Well, this one's about
apart.
Fester. This one's about Fester leaving the family.
Well, the family was still ripped apart in the first one though, because they at one point in the film they weren't even in the house anymore. Remember?
They were in like a hotel or something.
I guess you're right.
They got because Fester came in as a
Con man.
They thought he was a con man. Yeah,
That's
trying to con the
right.
family.
Yeah,
but
you're
I
right,
think the
yeah.
reason why this one works a little bit better is the same reason why the show works. And the show was great because it was the Addams family dealing with outside world shit, outsiders coming into their home, and the kind of dynamic that you get off of that. Whereas the first movie didn't deal with it a whole lot because the outsider was another Addams.
Yeah, it was.
Whereas
the
this
guy.
one, it's somebody completely different, and then it's also you got the two kids who are removed and basically taken and put into an outside situation. So I think it worked better because it almost followed the same formula as a show.
Right, but the original family, they weren't torn apart. What I mean, like,
Right.
it wasn't Fester over here and the kids over here and
No,
the family
you're right.
over
No,
here.
you're right
like,
about that for sure.
okay.
I'm just saying that I think one of the reasons why it worked so good was because it was like, let's put the Addams in more situations outside of the home. Let's get them out of the comfort zone and have them interact with people.
Well, they also did something pretty amazing with the sequel too. That is usually another failing sign of a terrible sequel, which is like add a character or a family member to, like it's like Father of the Bride Part 2. Not as good as Father of the Bride.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure,
Well,
I'm going to take your word on that one.
There was no baby in the TV show, right?
No.
So this was a completely new idea.
It was a completely
Yeah.
brand new
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, so I could see how that could go
But
bad.
It worked out though. I thought
worked out
I thought it
fantastically.
added a great dynamic. It added something for
Wednesday.
Jesus Christ,
It's a day of the
Wednesday and
week.
Pugsley, for them to like deal with. Like it gave those characters a little more room to shine.
Oh, it did. No, it set them up great. And then, they get sent off to camp, which is it's weird. They kind of play on like different things in Addams Family Values. They kind of play on camp movies a little bit.
Yeah, they deal with that. They deal with the
like
the
America's
widow.
Most Wanted.
Yeah, like the
kind
widow
of.
that goes like basically. So I married an axe murderer.
Yeah.
like that whole thing.
Oh, that's coming back,
They
huh?
deal with those. What?
That's
well,
coming back on
might
the
as well
show.
bring it back. Well, that's two films that we've done. We've done Meatballs. We've done that film.
Yeah.
We've kind of done both of these genres of films, and Addams Family Values does like a really good job of like poking fun, at it, especially the camp one.
I gotta say, like, I got hit with such a rush of nostalgia watching this movie when it cut to like the America's Most Wanted TV segment.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, I miss watching that show and Unsolved Mysteries. I wish those were still on the air.
Oh no,
so
it's
creepy.
John Walsh is still on the air catching bad guys. He's got a show
like
on
online, right?
No, he's got a show on CNN that's like, oh man, it's brutal.
You can still feel safe, America.
Yeah,
John Walsh is out there.
he's
Yeah,
still
he
trying
is.
to catch him.
Still trying to catch those criminals.
He's still getting them. But no, the camp stuff is where I mean the whole play at the end is just that's
It's fantastic.
movie magic.
It's
Well,
fantastic.
that's
Go on.
I was gonna say, is that like a throwback to the original? And when they do the play, don't they do a play and they start cutting their limbs off and all the blood spraying all over the stage?
I remember that.
Yeah,
but
that's what this kind of made me feel like was like a similar gag.
I thought this was funnier.
this
No,
one
it was great.
I thought this one, definitely worked a lot better because again, it was a situation out of the control of the Addams that they basically adapted to
Right.
and like fucking took over.
It's like the worst situation, the complete opposite of what the Addams are is every child at this camp that they go to.
yeah,
What I liked about it, I mean, not what I liked about it, what I found kind of weird about it a little bit though was that it's mocking the racism of the play
Mhm.
that they're in, but kind of the action was a little racist, a little bit.
oh yeah, like the way they took over was
Yeah,
more, was
I'm
still
like-
like kind of
Like that was kind of like, wow, that's like every Native American stereotype. Kid is playing like I'm gonna scalp you and I'm gonna fucking like. I was just kind of like, yeah, I think at this time people didn't probably see it that way or whatever. Like this joke would be great nowadays. I think you would definitely be like, whoa, you're kind of also being racist by saying this,
But at the same time, they were making a solid point. Like
no,
with the
Wednesday
whole
makes a
scene.
very good point to
Yeah.
say like, hey, let's talk about like how you took our land and like killed us
Yeah.
all and like blah,
She
blah,
calls
blah.
them
Yeah.
on their bullshit,
Yeah.
basically, and then wrecks the whole situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, at the same time, it's like, yeah, I can see your point where it's like, that's a racist way to go, but it's a funny situation because she is basically dealing with like the privileged white, which is like, is that kind of the group that took over the Indians anyway? So it was like,
Yeah,
it's
no,
still
they're definitely
exacting
trying
revenge.
to make that correlation
Yeah.
because I mean that's every camp movie, right? Like every camp movie deals with there's a bunch of outsider kids and they have to deal with what are essentially are like these white waspy kids that always come from either a better camp next door or within the same camp, and they're just constantly being
By
picked
the way, 15 points for using waspy.
on. Oh, you're welcome.
Oh, we're giving points now?
I'm giving points away as
I
I
didn't
see
know-
fit.
Oh, I didn't know that we
Do you
could
want
do
some
that.
points?
Oh, I might say words
Be
like
original.
waspy.
Even though...
No, and also you got to give it up to just what I would say is great marketing for this movie too. It had. I don't know if you guys know that this had a SNES video game.
Ooh, wow.
Attached to it. You two could play 40,
I did know
I
that.
think it was like 40 levels
I did know that.
Addams
Of
Family.
Addams Family Actions.
My brother owned it.
I would love to play that
My brother
game.
owned it. I do remember it being a boring game.
It looked like
Damn it.
It looks like it's Zelda with Fester as the main character. Is
Yep,
basically what
if
it
I
looks
remember
like.
correctly,
No,
yes.
no. Wait. You're talking about Fester's Quest from the NES, right?
No, that was
That was the one where Fester's walking around.
No, you're
and
Fester.
it's a top-down.
You're Fester
Zelda.
in both games.
What's that?
You're Fester in both games.
In Addams Family Values, they did the same thing as Fester's Quest?
You're Fester.
Because
You're-
Fester's Quest
you're-
was a
you're always
solid
Fester.
top-down platformer. Solid top-down Zelda clone. I'm just gonna say that
dude,
right now.
he's saying Fester's Quest, and I'm looking at him like, what the fuck is Fester's Quest?
Oh, it was for the
I gotta
NES. It was
find
a great
this.
game.
You know they did they did a reboot to this movie?
What? What do you mean?
You mean they did a third? They did a
well,
direct-to-video called
Yeah, it's like a. But it
Addams
was supposed to be
Family
like
Reunion.
it's supposed to be like a reboot also of like the series. It was supposed to be.
Oh, I mean, maybe. I never watched it. It was direct-to-video.
Yeah, I never
they,
watched
They
it either.
redid the whole cast.
Tim
I mean,
Curry,
Oh,
Daryl Hannah,
Tim Curry, really?
yeah, Tim
Daryl
Curry.
Hannon.
I hate
Yeah.
the sound of that already. I
That's
love
so
Tim
weird.
Curry,
I'll
but
avoid
no.
it.
Yeah.
I'll avoid it.
Like, did they try to just get like the next most charismatic character actor
Yeah,
next to
pretty
Raul
much.
Julia, and they said Tim Curry?
no one's
was
gonna
like-
replace him.
Tim
Or
Cur-
like, well, he died after
really.
he played M. Bison.
He did.
I don't know.
die.
That's why. That's why they never
why.
did
That
another
role-
Street Fighter.
That role killed him, just like Heath Ledger in The Joker.
That role did not kill him.
You think you think he went so method?
It was so method with M. Bison.
He died in an actual street fight.
Yeah. Did you guys not watch the movie and his performance?
I
and
did. I did
how
watch
into it. He was.
I did watch it. Very much so.
No, this is actually. I don't know what other movie he's done besides Street Fighter. In
I
this
went.
movie.
You know what? I went through.
Is that
his
terrible?
I went through his catalog. There's not a whole lot of memorable stuff in there.
But he's
No, he played like didn't he win an Oscar for playing like a missionary that went to like
the Addams Family.
Yeah.
No. He went to Nicaragua or something like that. And
And he became a Street Fighter.
The fact that you know the name of the film tells me how popular it is.
sorry, it wasn't a popular film.
But no, like it's crazy because he's fantastic in this movie.
Oh, he's great.
the whole cast is just top notch. Raul Julia though is by and far my favorite. When not Fester. When Gomez like loses his shit.
Yeah.
Those are the parts of this film that I lose my own shit because I'm laughing so hard. Like when he's in the police station and he is just going off on Nathan Lane, like justice has not been done. Justice, like, and he's just going nuts. Like he's not making any real sense, but it's just so funny.
I would say as much as I like Gomez,
Yeah,
I love Joan Cusack in this.
Oh,
she's
film.
fantastic.
my God.
She's great, dude.
Here's
Like,
a question.
Here's this is probably the first time I think I've ever been attracted to Joan
I
I
would
was
Cusack.
gonna say
say
the
that.
same
I
thing.
thought the
When
same
has
thing
she
watching
ever
it.
played like a sexed up
Dude,
symbol
I'm so
in
glad.
any movie?
I'm so glad you said that because I wanted to, and I thought, oh, that might be kind of shitty. But you said it. I'm going to piggyback on it. I agree 100%.
Well, I'm just saying
We're
that
all
I
Joan-
was like,
agreeance.
I can't remember the last time I was attracted to Joan Cusack.
No, it wasn't. So, but it's not even
That
so
was
much.
the
It's
last
just
time.
even the character she's playing. I've never seen her play,
Play that character. No,
like
me
a
either.
sexed up character. It's always been the quirky, like, oh, I don't really know. Like,
Yeah.
she got that blonde bob going on. I look good.
No, but I will say it's weird. I did not. I forget. So I haven't seen this movie in so long. I had forgot even that Joan Cusack was in it. Right,
Yeah,
and
me
then
too.
seeing her in it, I was like, "Holy crap, that's Joan Cusack!" And she's she's not playing like the quirky usual character.
Yeah,
She's playing like this sexy, confident character, and it was thrown back by. I was like, "Dude, she's it made me love her even more because I already love her.
Well,
Like Shameless, she's amazing, so I already
yeah,
love her.
yeah,
You know
that's
I
what
mean?
I've been seeing her in recently. It was nice to see her look completely different. How'd the Cusacks get so lucky?
With
what?
the
How did they
family.
get so
Yeah.
lucky?
What do you mean?
Like they both are just like career actors, like very good at what they do.
They're good.
Yeah,
it's
I
good,
mean,
you
it's
know?
just
John Cusack.
where does that start? I wonder.
I'm
you
a
know?
bigger fan of Joan than John. I'll say it.
I like John way
I don't
more
know.
than
Yeah,
Joan.
I'm a John fan myself.
Yeah, John Cusack in the 80s fucking
Yeah.
killed
Yeah,
it.
but dude, it does not repair John Cusack in the 2000s and present.
It doesn't repair it.
No.
I don't know.
He's done too much damage to his career.
Go back and watch Better Off Dead. And that's a fantastic
don't get
fucking
me wrong.
movie.
Hey, he's great in the 80s, but then when he hits that 2000s period, man.
That's not true. What about the Gross Point Blank? That was like the 90s, right?
Yeah, that's a good
I
movie.
just said 2000s.
Movie. It might have been.
Might have been. His filmography.
No, he was.
Anyhow, John Cusack's not in this movie, but you know
Yeah.
who
High
is?
Fidelity?
Fucking Joan Cusack.
Yeah.
No, and she's hilarious and funny and dangerous. She just plays.
Her
I don't know, she's
timing
great.
is so good.
She
Yeah.
Like I just
Solid fucking cast all around.
Wednesday. Oh, she was. Great.
We got to say that. Yeah, Christina Ricci.
came into her own. I feel like in this movie.
You know, you don't see much of her anymore,
It's sad. Saddens me.
which is sad. And you know, it's crazy because even in Buffalo '66, you know, she doesn't have a lot of range. Like she's not given a lot in that film. Don't get me wrong; she's angelic and all that. She's like necessary in the film, you know. But I just kind of feel like in this one, you see her like when she has to smile for the first time as Wednesday. The physicality of that is so spot on.
yes.
It's hysterical.
It's
like
too real.
I couldn't laugh, and it goes on for a while. It takes her a while to crack it, and then when she does, her face does look fucking insane.
Oh, it looks terrifying.
And that's what I mean. Like I don't know. She is something special in this movie. I feel like she just has the it factor in this movie.
Yeah.
Can I tell you? I did have one problem with this movie.
I had one as well. Let me hear what yours is.
And as much as I respect him as an actor, and I think he's fantastic and everything else, I cannot stand Christopher Lloyd as Fester.
I knew that was coming.
Okay.
He is just fucking annoying, bro. I just cannot get behind the character. I don't think it's funny at all.
I absolutely loved it every time she tried to kill him. He just like reappeared.
Yeah.
I
Just
like that.
fucking had me
I got-
dying.
see,
That's
that's what I
stuff's
think.
funny, but like it's like the
He's not good at playing. He's not good at playing the
does like-
shy, nervous guy.
I feel like he does
because
like
it's
the
almost
Christopher,
too much.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's just the like he just threw on the Christopher Lloyd voice.
I think he took it just
Is
a
that-
bit too far in
Yeah.
this one.
because it's definitely more reserved in the first one.
Yeah.
Because I think
Yeah.
he because
He's
in the
coming
first
into
one,
his
playing the
character.
other-
he plays a perfect Uncle Fester in the first one.
Well, this one, it's just like I can't.
There are moments though that I thought
Yeah.
were really good.
there are, but there's a lot of moments that are just like, you know what it is, brother. And it's
Yeah.
like, bro,
I feel like
you're
the-
at a 12 right now, and we need you at a
I
7.
feel like the whole scene at the restaurant when Gomez and Morticia are doing the dance, I felt like he was endearingly awkward, and I thought he played that part
what a
really
great
good.
scene that was, though. By the way,
Yeah.
that dance scene is hilarious.
Well, any dance scene that ends with every champagne cork in the place
In
going
an
off.
orgasmic explosion.
Yeah,
and just
I mean,
the
it's gonna be
fire,
good.
What else
the
could it
fire
be?
coming off of her from like the spins.
Yeah.
is great. I don't know. Angelica Houston's fantastic. The lighting that
Oh yeah.
I
special
love that
lighting
she
she
always
gets.
has fucking lighting on her eyes.
Always
It's
on
so
her eyes.
great.
And you know, there's this funny scene. I know that there's this one scene where they go to their Fester's new house for the first time. That white, beautiful
Yeah.
mansion.
Mhm.
There is one scene where I've noticed that she never moves in the movie.
Yeah,
Because
you
that
never
light-
see her
That
transporting.
light is just a fixed light, right?
Yeah.
And there is one scene where she does have to walk into frame, and you see it, and the light is just sitting there. It's just like a light, and she has to walk into the light. And I heard that from what I've heard about Angelica Houston on this movie, she was put through torture. She was wearing like a steel corset
Yeah.
the entire film to give her that like super slender like
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
buxom looking kind of thing. And then not to mention they have to hit that light every time. Like that had to be blinding, right?
It had to be so obnoxious
Yeah.
after like however many days of shooting, like, you know, just always looking directly into a light.
Yeah.
She plays. I think she plays. I don't know, man. It's like it's one of those things where it's like I don't know if anybody else could play another Morticia Addams as I don't like that's
Yeah.
she'll
Yeah.
It's like that is my like even the original Morticia Addams I don't remember more than Angelica Houston. And I know some people are probably going to boo me for that, but
No, I think Angelica Houston really owns that character
Yeah, for
now.
sure.
Like
Yeah.
for, like anybody who saw any of these reboots of Addams Family films, like she is the Morticia.
She Heath Ledgered the fuck out of that
She
role.
did.
She did.
She method.
I think
Totally.
everybody in this film did.
no, I agree.
Totally.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about Addams Family Values.
Life-saving! Now, I know we're all top-notch little swimmers, but now we get to show our stuff and earn those certificates! Hey, how about our first little pair of life-saving buddies? Amanda, Wednesday?
Is that your bathing suit? Is that your overbite?
Now, one of you will be the drowning victim, and the other one gets to be our lifesaver.
I'll be the victim. All your life. I'm going to be an actress.
Brava! Now, Amanda, jump in, swim out a few yards, and start drowning.
Help me! Help me! I'm drowning! Help me! I'm dying! I can't swim.
All right, guys, we're back. We're talking about Addams Family Values. Came out in 1993. It's a sequel to The Addams Family. One of the things I wanted to get to on the technical side, because I feel like this movie is pretty sound as far as effects and everything else, cinematography. It's pretty damn good. But there is one problem.
Uh-oh. Here
Everyone
it comes.
Everyone knows I have a rule on this show, and it's if you have your own theme song for your movie, you automatically get the point.
Mm-hmm. Earlier, before the break, you said you had a problem, and I said I had a problem as well.
Yeah.
And then you named yours, and I said, oh, that wasn't mine.
Yeah. This is yours?
I think you're bringing up mine.
Okay. Addams Family Values does have a theme song.
Yeah, it does.
And it
sure does.
It gloriously happens at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Right when the credits start rolling.
Yep. Where you hear tag teams, Addams Family's Whoop.
Whoop, Addams Family.
Which is basically they just added Addams Family to Whoop. There it is.
Yep.
That's all they did. That's all they did.
It just seems like that was the one point where they were really playing up the era.
It's like they hit that was the marketing machine right there.
Yeah. I was debating taking points off just for that alone.
When people are walking out of the theater, you want them to hear a catchy tune, right? Let's get
Whoop,
tag
Addams
team in
Family.
on this.
Yeah, people love that.
You know that's exactly what they thought.
Hey, who's a hot rap group right now? Tupac, never heard of them. Tag team? Sign me up.
Tag team was like the Smash Mouth of
they
rap back then.
It was.
The Smash Mouth of rap. I like how Smash Mouth is used as our compass of comparison.
Although I
for
think
all
it would have
other
been
groups.
great if they could have got Tupac to do an Ed song for the Addams Family. I wonder how that
He
would have
already
been.
did it for
Dear Mama!
Please, my enemies, Adam families.
And dude, a total fucking miss and an obvious marketing ploy.
It was.
And it's the one thing I fucking
Should've
can't
just been
respect.
the classic song should have just been the classic Addams Family.
Thank you.
But that's also a weird thing that I kind of am reminiscent of and miss of the 90s film.
Was
where,
it a theme song?
No, was like the marketing campaign that went behind every movie. So you would be like, you could actually collect things for movies. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like it would be like.
I mean, they still do it a little bit now.
No, but not like they used to. Like every movie had an action figure.
Oh, that's true.
Or like a cereal box toy.
Remember?
Or a Pepsi can. Or you know what I mean?
Like any movie that had Bryan Adams singing for it.
Oh
like
my
remember
God.
Robin Hood, the Prince of Thieves?
Oh yeah,
that song was hot.
That was.
Had a McDonald's toy.
Yeah,
You know?
I still own most of those McDonald's toys from the 90s from the movies.
Yeah.
I always got them. Always got them.
It's just not the. Yeah, they don't. I mean,
or had a Slurpee cup.
Yeah.
Remember that?
They don't do that shit anymore. I mean,
they
the
kind of
most
do
you
it for
get,
the Marvel movies.
The
a
most,
little bit.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
You know what, dude?
Yeah.
Honestly, like the most you get is like you get a pin. You get a pin at the movie theater. They give you a little button. Like here's a Ghostbuster
Oh
button.
man, watches. They used to do watches. Remember watches all the fucking time. Addams Family, I felt, was like one of the kings of this. Man, I remember especially with the original movie too. I mean, the original movie had an MC Hammer theme song. I mean, it
They had the animated series.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
wasn't
there a cartoon?
There was
Yeah.
an Addams Family cartoon for a long time.
And then it also, but it had, I think, a Pepsi commercial at the time. Like,
I mean,
the
probably.
video, it had video games. You've named
Plenty.
We've named two.
Yeah.
Plenty.
You know, like movies would get video games. I mean, they still kind of do it for some, but not many anymore. It's just, yeah, I don't know. A different time with the marketing, and it's weird. Like, so it's weird how some of that went away. You know, you don't really have like fast food chains teaming up with.
Well, it's all superhero stuff now.
It is. It's all Marvel stuff. They dominate everything.
It really like comes and goes. I feel like.
I think the consciousness is not the consciousness. First of all, let's keep in mind something else. Like toy. I mean, I imagine that little tiny cheap toys are nothing. Like, you know what? Actually, This might not be true. It just may have transferred into a different area. I guarantee you, when a movie fucking comes out, there's like 8 apps on goddamn the iTunes App Store.
You're probably right.
You're probably right.
We're probably too old for
We're
that.
We're thinking toys and like McDonald's and shit like that.
Physical
They're thinking
things.
99 cent freemium games where their kid's gonna spend $48 to get like 8 Addams Family tokens.
You make a very valid point, which is just different times. We're just old. We're just
I'm-
old.
I know. I'm still
We
buying.
old as
I'm
fuck.
still buying
I know.
toys from my childhood. I have a Shadow action from the movie The Shadow. I have it in my room right now. The Shadow.
I like tangible
yeah.
items that I can like
too.
have. You know,
Yeah.
I can display. I can.
I am so glad we invited the Chippewas to join us for this holiday meal. Remember, these savages are our guests. We must not be surprised at any of their strange customs. After all, they have not had our advantages, such as fine schools, libraries full of books, shampoo. How? I am Pocahontas, a Chippewa maiden.
An Indian.
Enough said.
And I am Running Bear, betrothed to Pocahontas. In the play.
20 grand for summer camp. He's Mr. Woo Woo.
All right, so let's rate this Mammer Jammer. Mike, what do you want to rate it?
I mean, what can we rate it other than Fester light bulbs? It's in the game. It's in the game's Fester's Quest. You collect them.
Oh, it's also in like the
show.
No, it's not. But also, don't they have like one of those games at like Peter Piper Pizza that had like Fester's light bulb?
Oh, they had the yeah. I played that. It was the
Yeah.
Fester shock treatment, and
Yeah.
you had to hold on to the bars,
yeah.
and they
They vibrated
vibrated
hard
to
as
some
hell.
insane amount where like it was almost like you don't have control. Your muscles just naturally curled in.
Your hands get all
and you-
itchy.
You couldn't release if you wanted to. Yeah, I remember that shit.
Wow.
Why was that? Why was that an arcade game in 2000s? Movie wasn't topical then.
Yeah. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
Missed the boat.
Anyways, light bulbs.
Light
Sure.
bulbs. All right, let's start with me. I gotta give it 4. This was not in my list of Halloween movies that I had to like watch every year on a Halloween time, but now it is. Like I just it's one of those things where this movie came out and I forgot about it, and I didn't ever go back to watch it because it didn't affect. I didn't get it as a kid. I don't think. Like, I didn't understand the humor, and now that I'm older, I get the humor, and it's hysterical. This movie is so goddamn funny. But I'm giving it a solid 4. It's fun. This is definitely a Halloween movie you can throw on at a Halloween party. People can watch it and just laugh and have a good time, or it can play in the background and people catch a zany scene or something like that. But yeah, 4.
Guess what, Cody?
What?
15 points for using the word zany.
Thank you.
You're on the board.
Damn.
Take that.
Oh, we're tied.
You're
Take
on
that.
the board.
Take that, Wispy.
Waspy.
Waspy.
Same thing.
Sure. Why not?
Let's go with Kyle next. Kyle.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this movie a 4 as well. I used to watch this movie all the time with my brother growing up. This movie is hilarious. It's aged very well. I feel like not a lot of the jokes for me fell flat. I mean, there's a few tropes that are very 90s, but I mean, I'll let it fly. Especially the final music, the theme song, if you want to call it that, the Whoop Addams Family.
Oh, there's one other.
I was gonna dock it points for that, but I mean, Mike gave me a good point. Was like you can't dock it for that. So
You can't. I was gonna say the Michael Jackson joke was another one.
that was fucking hilarious.
It's funny, but like, who's gonna get that now?
Yeah, no one's gonna get
You
it
know?
anymore. This movie is really entertaining. I would seriously recommend this to anybody watching that want to see a smart, funny family film that isn't too watered down. Like, isn't, like there's still enough jokes in there for the adults and enough jokes that the kids are gonna laugh as well. So hey, 4. It's a great movie.
And not too scary that you can watch it with like a 2-year-old. All right, so let's go with Chris. Chris, how many do you give it? 1? Chris, that's ridiculous.
1?
Wow.
Guess what, Chris? Mine is 15 points.
Contrary to popular belief, I'm actually going to give it a 4. I just love the Addams Family as characters. I've enjoyed the TV show. I enjoyed the cartoon. I've enjoyed the first one, and Values is one that, like Cody said, I hadn't seen in a long time, and it was kind of forgotten about. I'm glad Mike picked this. It is definitely one that needed to be revisited, And I don't know if I necessarily would say like this is a Halloween movie. It's just that the Addams Family is kind of dark and morbid, so it sort of fits with the holiday. But it's fun. It would be fun to watch it any time of the year. I'm super glad we revisited it.
All year is Halloween for me. That's why I think it should be on all year round. My name's Chris.
All right.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. All right, so next up, let's go to my name's Chris, and I'm Halloween. I'm spooky all times of the year. I'm also ooky. And,
Man.
All right, so Mike, what is your review for Addams Family? How low are you gonna go?
I'm gonna follow the pack. Four, solid 4.
Mm-hmm.
A solid 4 light bulbs. It's just a really good film. You know, the cast is phenomenal. This is one of those films that I hope to. You know, I rarely ever say this that I don't want a redone of a film, but I think they just got this right, and I think they should just leave it at that.
No, I agree.
If they try to recast this and try to do it again, I'd be very sad.
I agree.
Yeah,
Lightning in a bottle.
It is. No,
lightning in a bottle.
I really do think they captured it in this second film specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would never want to see this remade.
It's like I said, it's odd to see a sequel. You know, it's rare when they're better than the original.
It is rare.
Yeah,
you know?
It is
Troll
rare.
2.
All right, guys, that's our very spooky and kooky and ooky show for this week. Make sure that you follow us on social media at cultfilm_review on Instagram and Twitter. You can also follow us on Facebook. Please make sure, you subscribe to the show. This is very important that you listen to this because this helps us out a bunch, gets us noticed, and more people can listen to us. Also, tell your friends about us. We're cool, right?
I think so.
Not really.
If you say you're cool, you're not cool. So we're not cool.
That's something not. Yeah, cool
The
person.
Fonz wouldn't say
a cool
he's cool.
person never says he's cool.
No, we're not cool. We suck. Tell your friends about us.
Let them know how bad we are.
You can follow Kyle.
You can follow me on Instagram at cultfilm_Kyle.
You can follow Chris.
Cultfilm_Chris on Instagram.
You can follow Mike.
At Mike Salustio on Twitter.
And you can follow me at VHS Collect on Instagram. All right, guys, that's our show for this week. Remember, if you're going to join a cult, just make sure they watch good movies. See you next week.